Hi, I'm Bill Jacoby. I'm involved with the Truth Action Project, as well as with proudly with this organization. I'm a retired attorney and manager of various things, too long to talk about. I was reflecting that 59 years after Abraham Lincoln spoke from this stage, the National Association for Advancement of Colored People was formed. Those intervening years, during those 59 years, of course, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, and his life's work, the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, had been adopted at the cost of 600,000 soldiers' lives. But all those accomplishments were severely rolled back in the intervening years as the economic interests of the South came back from the dead, so to speak, after having all their property, quote unquote, their property rights and those slaves suspended. And by 1909, the African American community of the United States was living in perilous circumstances in a reign of terror. Bombings, lynchings, denial of rights. The few black representatives in Congress that there had been were frightened from office and chased out by intimidation. But the NAACP was formed, and it took 22 more years before their first staff attorney, Nathan Margold, developed a strategic plan to overturn the legal precedent of Plessy versus Ferguson from the 1890s, which established the principle of, quote, separate but equal, and which enshrined segregation as the root law of the land. So the Margold Plan was written in about 1930, I believe, and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund was formed shortly thereafter. So we had an interesting theory of social change here. We had a grassroots organization formed under perilous circumstances at a dire time, and then we found that we see a legal defense fund, basically a public interest law firm, being established in close symbiosis with that grassroots organization. It took about 24 more years of the leadership of the Legal Defense Fund with the NAACP, but the Legal Defense Fund was headed first by Charles Houston and then by Thurgood Marshall to achieve their victory in Brown versus Board of Education. Those were 24 years of depression and war, of course. It was a difficult time, particularly for the supporters of the NAACP. But triumph they did in that regard. So we are trying to work on to build on the shoulders of those giants. And yesterday you saw the launch of the Truth Action Project, an effort to build a grassroots organization focused on 9/11. And today you're witnessing the launch of the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 inquiry. Now, I think it seems to me that neither of these organizations will fully succeed without the other. The NAACP, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund could not have survived without a dedicated core of grassroots supporters, not only for fundraising, which was important, but also to be there with the placards and the signs and the letters to the editors and whatever other kind of support was needed when attorneys faced the kinds of obstacles that William Pepper continued to experience in all those intervening years. So lawyers really they can perform miracles, but they can't perform miracles without support from the community. And the community, the grassroots organization, really needs the intellectual leadership, the thought leadership, the strategic leadership of lawyers if what we seek is change through law, peaceful change. So we encourage all of you to, in your individual capacities, if you're law students, think about ways you can approach us, and we will work with you to find ways that you can add such a meaningful activity to your lives. If you're lawyers now, think about ways you can build our network and support our endeavors. And all of you, if you can see your way to support this organization and perhaps get involved in the grassroots development that we discussed yesterday by going to www.911tap.org, you will be helping to build the groundwork of support that can make these efforts possible. Thank you very much.